This is the first video in this 5-part series intended to help players in Rainbow Six Siege improve their mechanical skill. I think it's a common misconception that aim is just one singular piece. There are actually many pieces that will help build a foundation for improving aim, and each video in this series will be individually discussing those pieces. But in this introductory video, I want to take more of a broad approach and talk about the main issue in Siege when it comes to bad aim. The videos in this series following this one will be more in depth on how to actually improve your aim. And keep in mind that I'm not claiming to be an incredible Siege player by any means. I'm just trying to share the information that I use to improve my aim. So what is the most problematic occurrence in the Siege player base when it comes to aim? In my experience, it's that players don't see the significance in improving aim, or rather, they don't think that their aim could get any better. Don't get me wrong, aim isn't everything. However, you could have all the coordination and knowledge in the world, but if your aim suffers, then you will consistently lose matches. I believe that players need to put more of an emphasis on aim and sensitivity. After all, this is a first-person shooter. This is especially important in casual or ranked where coordination and communication are often lacking.
Can you give a call out?
While aim isn't the most important thing in any video game, especially Rainbow Six Siege, where strategy and teamwork are key, it is still a crucial part of improving, and a lot of players overlook the importance of improving their aim. We all know the pain of losing a round because a teammate of ours is unable to land the shot. You would think that improving aim is easy and everyone would have good aim, but many players just don't worry about it. To a large number of players, video games are casual, but in competitive games, like Rainbow Six Siege, being competitive is where the fun is at. That means improving where you can, and for the vast majority of players, that means aim. When most people play a new game for the first time, they usually don't change their settings much. Maybe they'll rebind a few keys and adjust their sensitivity a little bit, to what feels good enough and play with that. But they won't go above and beyond to find the perfect sensitivity that gives them incredibly precise aim. Instead, they'll settle. While the settings these new players use may work in their beginning matches, it is without a doubt far from optimal. Normally, the average player's sensitivity is much higher than it should be. It feels more natural, easier, and more comfortable to use less movement in the mouse hand, so newer or less knowledgeable players will opt for the higher sensitivities. These players will never know the true potential of their own aim. So why is a lower sensitivity better? It's more accurate to play with a lower sensitivity, as in aiming with your arm, as opposed to aiming with your wrist. It has to do with how much more room you have to work with, not only in terms of physical space, but also room for error. Here's what I mean. Accidentally moving your mouse a seemingly negligible distance won't affect your crosshair on a low sensitivity much. However, on a higher sensitivity, this small slip-up could turn your character 90 degrees the wrong way. Just try playing with a ridiculously high sensitivity. Max out your settings, then try to place your crosshair on a target and keep it there while moving back and forth. You'll be able to physically see the crosshair being choppy and skipping over pixels due to how high it is. It's impossible to be accurate with a sensitivity this high. If you can't keep your crosshair steady on a still target, then how could you expect to be accurate in an actual match against other players? All you need to do to be accurate with a low sensitivity is to become accustomed to using your arm to aim. It takes a little bit of time and effort, but it is doable and preferable. We're getting into the semantics, but the point is, a low sensitivity is much more accurate. The obvious question, of course, is, if that were true, then why are too high of sensitivities such a big issue to you? Wouldn't everyone be on low sensitivities if they're so much better? The issue here is ingrained comfort, bad habits, and to be honest, a lack of information. The average person has grown up using computers with high sensitivities. I'm talking school computers, your family computer, things like that. People have grown accustomed to using their wrist to control the cursor. So naturally, the idea of using your entire arm to aim does not sound appealing. This is the Dunning-Kruger Effect full-blown. Average or less than average players see their aim and think, yeah, I have pretty good aim, I don't see the need to improve it. Which is fine if you don't care about your rank, you play the game for fun, or you have no desire to become better than you currently are. But if that were the case, then you probably wouldn't be watching this video in the first place. The main limiting factor for people with bad aim is their gear, specifically their mousepad. This topic will be the subject of the next video, so I'll leave it at this. Without a properly sized mousepad, you'll have a hard time finding the right sensitivity. And remember, the thing about low sensitivities that I really want to drive home is that it will take time to get used to. It won't be comfortable to use your entire arm to aim, especially if you have spent your entire life using only your wrist. So after you have gone through this series and have changed what needs to be changed, stick with it, practice with it, and keep this in mind throughout the whole process.